a distinguished lawyer and multi-award winning media professional with over a decade of expertise across broadcast, digital, and social media platforms. Renowned for her versatility, eloquence, and commanding presence, she is one of Nigeria's most respected voices in news, current affairs, and live event hosting. A two-time recipient of the prestigious Eloy Award for TV Personality of the Year 2016 and 2022, and winner of the Future Awards Africa Prize for TV Presenter of the Year 2018. Olive has consistently been recognized for excellence in journalism and media. That same year, she was celebrated as one of Nigeria's 100 most inspiring women by Leading Ladies Africa. She is currently the co-host of Breakfast Central, the flagship daily news and current affairs program on News Central Television, DSTV 422, GoTV 23, where she delivers incisive analysis and interviews influential voices from across Africa every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Beyond television, Olive is a highly sought-after master of ceremonies, bringing exceptional poise and professionalism and high-level events spanning corporate, policy, lifestyle, and entertainment sectors. Her legal training combined with her media experience makes her a compelling communicator adept at engaging diverse audiences with clarity, depth, and charm. Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause, please make welcome Olive Emodi.
Thank you, Olive. It's very wonderful to have you here. Seeing us, no, the song will take you to the radiant stage. Okay. Our DJ, can you be radiant with it? Thank you. Ladies.
Raise your voice and shout. Come on.
Voice and shout, ladies. Give them. This way. Are we cheering her on? No. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. Oh, it's not yet afternoon. I'm going ahead of time. Okay, I'm great. You know, Alex had said we should step into the person, so I'm stepping into the afternoon real quick. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you to the Soul Circle. I think that wherever there's a community of women, it just really warms my heart to be with the women. I'm a girl's girl, so I'm always very excited to be with women. And I feel that there's so much that we can do together, so much. So thank you, Alex, for inviting me. Thank you for having me. You know, Alex she's a dogged person. When she was talking of audacity, she's the one that has audacity. I haven't been very receiving of speaking engagements. I'm always very honored that people think that I have sense to invite me to come and speak. But I haven't been very receiving because this year has been a very tight year. But somehow, I'm just like, I couldn't rest. There's something that, you know, it just felt like I had to be here. I've only accepted 2 speaking engagements this year, and I've got tons. This is the second one. So thank you so much, Alex, for inviting me. And I pray and I trust God that there'd be something to pick from here and that we'll leave here inspired and motivated. Okay, so I've been asked to speak on the cost of containment, why playing small is no longer an option. And the truth is, we've been to many speaking engagements. We've been to a number of conferences. We hear talk all the time. There's barely anything that you will hear said at a conference that you've never heard before. Sometimes what you need is a reminder. I'm a person of faith, and if it's okay, I'd like to make reference to the Bible at some point. The Bible says that faith comes by hearing. So sometimes you just need to keep hearing these things over and over again. In the course of speaking about this, I'd like to share my story and hope that you can see yourself or see parts of your journey mirrored in my story. So I think there's certain things I just want to set as a foundation for the conversation that we'll have today. First is that containment is not humility. I think that we like to oftentimes think, oh, I'm humble. I don't want to show what I can do so people will not think I'm doing too much. Please, containment is not the same thing as humility. Number two, playing small doesn't serve God. It doesn't serve God. It feels like a waste of investment. Really, God has put so much on the inside of us that if you refuse to use all of that, remember the parable of talents. When the person with one talent went to go and bury the talent, the master came and said, where did you drop this talent? Like, I gave you this thing and you didn't use it. I feel that God has put so much on the inside of us. Playing small doesn't serve the generation that you're called to liberate. So I think those three things would be the statements I'll use as the groundwork for the conversation today. Now let's talk about a bit of my background. And before I share my background, I'll talk about what containment is and share the ways in which I have been contained and the effects that it's had on me. Containment is an invisible box that we agree to stay in. It's different things. That box can be powered by different things. Sometimes it's culture. Sometimes it's trauma. Sometimes it's the lies that other people have told you about yourself. Sometimes it's the reality of your experiences. And there's several reasons why some of us, unfortunately, have been contained by no fault of ours. But then it's a decision for you to recognize that this is what is holding me down and decide to break free from that containment. But the truth, unfortunately, is that some people need a little bit of help. When you've been inside a box for so long, even when they open the box, you don't realize that you've been set free, right? If you do a practical now and you get an animal and you bind it for a long time, or you put it in an enclosed room, you take away that, enclosure, the animal will most likely remain there because mentally there's that barrier that blocks it. So what are the things that have served as containment? One, their internal containment. That is some of the experiences and the lies that you've told yourself about yourself. Some may have been true, but they were not meant to serve as containment. There were things about you that were supposed to serve as catalysts to take you to where you're meant to be, not to hold you down. And I'll start with myself. Growing up, one of my greatest insecurities, and it's very interesting because as a young girl, I was seemingly very quiet in school. And then I got to primary school and something changed. I became such a talkative that they'll write in my report card, she is very smart, but she talks too much. How many of us are like that? They say she's a chatterbox. And it became an insecurity for me. It almost felt like it was second nature for people to see me and say, you talk too much. And every time they said it, it would strike me, it would hurt me. Sometimes I wouldn't react. I didn't realize that what they were doing and what I was doing was giving them the permission to contain me in a box. So sometimes I want to speak, but I find myself holding back. I had to subconsciously fight to break through. Then I didn't understand mechanisms and techniques you can use to break through from the limiting mindsets and beliefs. So I just used to be like, well, that's how I am. Whoever will like me like that. That's your business. I didn't realize that the thing that people said was my disadvantage, what people had labeled me with, what I had used as an insecurity, would become a catalyst. Today, people pay me to talk. I talk for a living. I talk on TV. I host events and I get paid. The girl they call the talkative, a chatterbox, now talks to make her daily living. So what I didn't realize would have been, something to hold me down. And I really thank God for how that has played out, right? So that is one of the internal reasons by which I contain myself. That was an action. Sometimes your containment is even how you look. I had the most, and I'm going to be as vulnerable as possible, I had the most interesting doubts about myself. I did not start disliking my skin color until much later. I think it was in university. By my third year was when I started to realize that I was dark. I didn't see color before then, but I started to see color in my third year. When people would say to me, don't you want to glow? Like, use something to make your complexion glow. Someone once said to me that TV is not made for dark-skinned women, that the camera is made for lighter skin, and they made reference to some light-skinned presenters in Nigeria. They called certain names. I can't see that they look nicer on TV. And I probably haven't shared this publicly, ever. But at some point, I felt the urge to start brightening my skin color. And then, it starts with a subtle, I'm looking a little browner than usual. And everybody, when you come back, they'll be like, oh, you're glowing, you look so good. So there was just that pressure. And I didn't think that dark skin was beautiful. Or I didn't think it was as beautiful as it is, right? And it's why I'm very passionate about young girls. I'm very passionate about young girls, about affirming young girls. If I see a little girl here, I would hug her and tell her she's beautiful, she's smart, she's kind, she's intelligent. I would always, and I'm biased towards dark-skinned girls, dark-skinned young girls, because I just didn't want them to go through what I went through and how I saw myself in that way. But this dark-skinned young girl that thought, dark-skinned is a bit of a disadvantage. In fact, I was really skinny, and people thought you should be a model. I used to watch Tyra Banks. I promise you I was skinny. Don't look at what you are seeing. I should probably share a throwback with Alex, so that Alex will share with your group. You will never believe who I am and who I was. And I did a bit of modeling at the time. And I remember just thinking, I'm skinny, but I'm only good enough for runway modeling. I don't want to do pageants because, again, dark skin, I had what some people would call Mickey Mouse teeth then. And I just couldn't wait until I could afford braces and I couldn't afford braces. Braces was 150,000 naira at the time. That was a lot of money for me. I couldn't afford it. I was waiting till I'm old enough to earn that much and afford it so that I can get braces. It took me many years, but then I can afford braces now. But I will never wear braces unless a doctor comes to tell me that, this is going to affect your health. Because I've gotten very confident. I remember somebody seeing me somewhere and saying, you were walking and I was behind you. But I wasn't quite sure that this was you. And then you turned and smiled. And I saw your teeth and I was like, that's definitely Olive. So it had become my signature. But it took me years to get to the point where I was comfortable with it, where I accepted that it's one of my favorite features of myself now, and I'm not even trying to say, it's not motivational speak, it's not aspire to perspire. I genuinely like my smile and my dentition, but it took me a long time to get here. Now, back to the dark skin. I once shared a bit of colorism on social media, and I shared how it affected a number of women and how people didn't feel so confident. And I remember someone who is now a public figure, whom I cannot mention, sent me a DM and said, you gave me the confidence to like my skin color because of how well and proudly you carried your dark skin, that I used to feel so insecure about my color. But because of you and how you shared and, sometimes you basically you carried yourself with so much confidence that it made me feel like it was okay to show myself and to own my authenticity. Sometimes, the parts of you that you don't embrace are the parts that would inspire people the most. There are a number of people that are waiting to be liberated if you would dare to have the confidence to own what you will call a disadvantage, or what some would have termed a force, a limiting force, the thing that they think could have alienated you or made you be in the minority can be the one thing that will stand you out. But beyond standing you out, there are a number of other people that are waiting to be inspired by you. Do you know how many people will be free just by you walking up, taking space, and actually living in the destiny that you're meant to live in? Do you know how many women and men are waiting on you? It's just like, I often would remember a portion of scripture that says that the whole world is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. There are people that are waiting on you, but you are sleeping, and you are allowing yourself to be sorry for yourself. You don't have time to be sorry for yourself. You don't have the time to be sorry for yourself. So you need to do whatever it is. Realize what are those things internally. So I have shared with you, one, behaviorally, was the fact that I was insecure by talking, and that could have contained me. But today, by God's grace, it's become a tool that I've used not just to transform my life, but the lives of others. And I shared with you something from the external, like my skin, and the beauty standards and how I thought that that was going to impact me, and how on the flip side it's become an advantage. So beyond talking about that, some of the times is your fear of being inadequate, the insecurity. When Alex was speaking, she talked about that fear, and honestly, it will never go away. I remember saying to my friend that I hate how I've been hosting events for over 10 years, but yet anytime I want to get on a stage, I'm nervous. Why? Why? Oh my goodness. Were you at Wimby's the year that I hosted? So I don't know how many of you saw the clip that went viral with Chimamanda when I was introducing Chimamanda and I started to hail her in Igbo language. Before that day, before that particular Wimby's, I was so nervous. You will see me and think, oh, she is so confident. But I was so nervous and just praying, God, please let everything go right. And I remember saying to my friend that I feel, I'm upset that I have to deal with this level of fear. And I will never forget what he said to me. He said, the fact that you feel anxious and you're afraid means that you care enough. You care enough to do an excellent job. So I stopped fighting the fear, just like she said. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this together. It's okay. The moment I start feeling like I'm too confident, I've got this, then there's a certain level of pride that would not allow me do the best that I can do to deliver an excellent job. The people that do well oftentimes aren't the talented ones. They're the ones that feel that they're not as talented. Why? Because they know that they have to compensate for that shortage, that weakness, so they will go the extra mile. You can be really talented, but you will not do as well as somebody who is less talented than you, because that person recognizes they're not as talented. So they know they have to work hard. But you know you're talented. So you don't do anything because why? You are bad like that. You can coast, right? So this fear will spur you to always make sure that before every event, you will prepare. You would always show up as the best version of yourself. Now, looking away from this internal containment, let's talk about external containment. What are the things outside of you that can contain you? The fear of public perception. In other words, people pleasing. How would there are a number of us that have struggled, and I think Alex hinted at this, and I can relate as well, that we oftentimes aren't worried about getting things wrong or making mistakes. We are oftentimes more concerned about the perception of people regarding the mistake we have made and how that will influence how they see us, right? So sometimes it's not about, I don't want to make this mistake, I don't want to get this wrong, I'm not yet sure I can do this. The reason why some of us have been procrastinating on a dream or an idea that God has put on the inside of you to do, you're thinking, I'm a perfectionist. Yimu. You're not really a perfectionist, my dear. You're not. Sometimes it's just, I don't want people to think that I've done a shoddy job because I have such a high perception of myself, and I want people to continue to have that high perception of me as well. So if I do a job that is not good enough, they may start to think I'm inadequate. That fear of public perception, the people pleasing. These are some of the external factors that can contain you. And you need to break free from the fear of people pleasing. It's a journey. I don't think it's a destination. It's a journey that you often have to remind yourself every day that this is a battle. You often have to remind yourself that there are things within the sphere of your control. The things within the sphere of your control are your actions. How people perceive them is not within the sphere of your control. With your best intentions, people will still misinterpret your actions. People will still misrepresent you, especially if you're now looking to become a public person. Have you not seen how the tide changes with social media? You do one thing one day, you're everybody's sweetheart. You make one tiny mistake, they will come with daggers and cut you. The same people that were yesterday saying you are the best thing after sliced bread, they'll be the ones who say, block him, boycott her. And tomorrow you do something else. You decide to maybe do one giveaway. They've completely forgotten about that, and all of a sudden, they're tossed wherever the wind goes, here and there. Like they have that's how public perception is. It's tossed here and there. So you need to now find out who you are and be grounded in yourself and know that even in regardless of who you are, people will like you and people will not like you, and it's okay for people not to like you. I'm going to quote Chimamanda. She said, oftentimes we teach girls to be likable. It's okay for people not to like you, and that's a reality you have to learn to be comfortable with. It's something I oftentimes have to remind myself. I'm not ice cream. And even as nice as ice cream is, some people will still say they don't like ice cream. I look at people that don't like ice cream like, Are you from Mars? Like, how can you not like ice cream? But yet, some people don't like it. This jollof we're making noise about everywhere. Not everybody likes jollof. It's hard to believe. As I am now, what I'm saying can lead to public dragging, but I'll say it anyway. I think that thank you very much. I think that smoky fried rice is an excuse that people that don't know how to cook jollof rice use to mask their inability to cook jollof rice. I said it. We listen, we don't judge, Abby. Everybody, smoky fried rice, smoky jollof. You just go and put smoke inside. Cook the actual jollof, remove the smoke, let's taste it, and know if you can cook. If it didn't day. Don't be using smoke to confuse us. They put smoke inside, then you'll now be competing against Ghana. No, now. Remove the smoke first. Let's eat the quality. But, jokes aside, everybody cannot like you. So I think we need to divorce ourselves from the need to be liked, the need to be accepted, and just, understanding who you are and holding fast to that, regardless of what, that will cost you on the outside. Now, in sharing my journey as well, so I studied law, and I thought I was going to practice law. Even though while studying law, my natural affiliation was for the arts. I wanted to do acting. I wanted to be a broadcaster. In fact, when I was getting into university, I said, my dad. So when I say my dad, I mean my uncle, my guardian. My father passed when I was really young. So I grew up, for the most part, without a father. But the person who stood as my father is my uncle, my guardian, and I call him dad now. So I remember saying to him that, I want to study theater art. He said, hey, I'm not paying school fees for anybody to go and study theater arts. I say, okay. And then I got confused. I went back to my mom. I said, Mom, I want to do mass comm. I want to study law. I don't know what to study. And she was like, mass comm, I think you have the natural giftings of a communicator, and this is something that you can work on. You cannot work on being a lawyer. So why not go to school, study law, come out? And if you decide you want to practice as a broadcaster, you go and get some form of rehearsal and training, and then you can practice. I think that's the best piece of advice that anybody could have given me. Because if I had to do it over again, I would still do the same thing. I wouldn't change a thing. I would still go back to school and study law. But what I did was, in the 5 years I was in university, I used to host events for free. I didn't know that people can pay to host events or pay me to host events. I'll just tell SUG to buy me nice lunch. I was that cheap. Just give me food and I'm okay. They'll buy me food, I will eat, and I'm good. But I don't know what I did not do when it comes to entertainment and arts. I was a host. In fact, I won most sociable female in my university. I won most popular female in my university. I think at some point, I organized the pageant. I was the chaperone for the girls who were contesting for the pageant. And then I was performing poetry as well. And when I say perform, it's not just coming to read poems. We're actually acting it out on stage. And at some point, did a bit of dancing as well. I did it all. But what I didn't realize was, in doing all of that, God was preparing me for my future. I was learning skills along the way. When it got to an opportunity for me to host and get paid for it, I didn't realize that I needed no other training. I had been training for the most part of my university to do this. So when I came out, it came very naturally to me to do it. I didn't need to go and get any official formal training because I had been working on the skill over and over again. But then I got into TV. And I remember the first year of working, in a few months, I got an opportunity that required me to travel to cover an event for my station. Great opportunity. I went, I did an excellent job, or so I thought. I did much more than they asked me to do. I came back. The applause was mighty. But instead of getting a promotion, I got a demotion, which did not make sense to me. How do you get a demotion? They said, go and cover an event. I went. I did a fantastic job on the red carpet, put together the story, but even figured beyond doing this, since I'm in this new state, how about I do a report on the state? So I did sights and sounds of the state for my own money. I called my friend who was a radio presenter in that state. We were filming different people. I filmed one woman making banga soup, told her to tell us how to make it. It was in Bayelsa. Tell us in your traditional language. I put subtitles. It was such beautiful storytelling. But I came back and I got a demotion. Why? For the most ridiculous reasons. You know this office drama and office politics? Somebody went to go and tell my boss that I don't know how to speak English. It's just so ridiculous. But I remember thinking to myself, it was just a number of things. Basically, they were speaking to the credibility of my work and the excellence of my delivery. And my boss wasn't aware. He was just judging based off what he heard. And so they told me, rather than becoming a TV host for now, you have to be a floor manager. At this time, what a floor manager meant was that if the anchor said, we want makeup, I'll come and do it. Oh, you need tea, I'll run downstairs and make tea for them, my colleagues. So I had to serve my colleagues. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. I can't do it. I'm a lawyer, for crying out loud. I was called to the Nigerian bar, and you want to put me through this? This is ridiculous. And I called my mom, and I said, I'm going to quit my job. I can't do this. She said, no, you won't quit. You will stay there and you will rise through the ranks. That sometimes you have to fall to the bottom and work your way to the top, because there are lessons for you to learn along the way. And God doesn't want anybody to take the credit in your journey. So I thank God, because I literally went from bottom, serving tea, making tea for guests, miking my colleagues, helping them. Oh, you need makeup, get touch up. And then there was a vacancy on that show. Who will fill in the vacancy? Olive. Oh, somebody is going abroad to have a baby. We need an anchor to stand it. Olive. Initially, they tried to push back. After a while, but I understood the show. In the course of working there, I had learned the show. I learned the script, the format, everything about the show, such that when I was thrown to host a live show with them, a political live show, I did a great job, because I had been understudying the show while serving. So sometimes being pushed to the bottom it looks like a bad thing, on the face of it, but in the long run, it will serve you. It's not just about having gotten to the bottom, it's what have you learned on your way? What are the lessons you're learning? Are you just going to stay there and be licking your wounds and crying about, oh, everything is not working for me, I hear that I've been humiliated, this has happened to me? What lessons are you going to learn along the way? Are you going to stay there, or are you going to pick up skills that will help you rise above that situation? And it was on that same show I won multiple awards. The same show that I was serving as a floor manager was the same show that I won the first ever award that they had gotten on the station. It was myself and Ayo Mairo-Ese, TV Presenter of the Year, Eloy Awards. It was on that show. So, this part I say because we like to oftentimes delude ourselves to think it's always going to be a smooth sail. I'm Christian, but I find that there's a genre of Christianity that lies to you, that is going to be all flowers and roses, and you can't often always positive confess yourself into a good life. Life will happen. The hard times will come. But it's how you're able to navigate these hard times, and if you're able to, the lessons you've been able to pick, oftentimes when I just realized I caught my thought, but I'll come back to that. Oftentimes when I'm having a good time, I catch myself, when life is being good to me, I catch myself and I pray and I say, God, help me to learn gratitude in this season and to remember, so that when the hard time comes, I'll still remember that God that was good when the rosy times were good, and God that was deserving of my love, my dedication, and my service is still the same God that is good when the times are bad, and He's deserving of my dedication, my love, and my service. So I do hope that when we get to the down times of life and the sad parts of life, we're distraught, but being torn apart is, sometimes you can't help how you feel, but don't stay there. And how do you get out of there? Journaling helps me, and I'm glad that I saw that you were going to do some journaling today. Journaling helps me to count my blessings, and the lessons that I've learned, I oftentimes have to remind myself that no, things aren't always going to be here. It's the ebb and flow of life. You'll get out of this. It's like waves. You will get out of this. You don't have to stay stuck. I think the most common message I get all the time are for people who say, I don't know my purpose. I don't know what next. I feel like I'm stuck in life. And my response to that often is, what is the last thing that God asked you to do? I know that many of us in this room that feel like there are dreams that we've had and we've nursed that we've not been able to do anything with for the longest time. I went to open my 2023 journal, and there's a project I'm about to release. That was something I wrote in my 2023 journal. You just think, oh, I want to do this, and you abandon it. And sometimes you're asking God for a new dream, a new idea. What is the last thing that God asked you to do? Have you done it? As I'm saying this thing to you, I'm also subbing myself to go back and check what the last thing that God has, asked me to do. So sometimes don't look for a new dream. Sometimes look at the old ones that you haven't done anything with and explore them, rather than, trying to look for something new. Because in the course of looking for something new, you're oftentimes then going to overlabor your brain to start thinking, oh, I need a new idea. I need to go and work on the old one and think of how to tweak it and bring the best out of it. It will no longer pay you to play small because of the urgency of the times that we're in. Alex spoke to AI. The world is moving very fast. The attention span of the world is so short. Things are happening really quickly. And if you refuse to push yourself out of that comfort zone, you find that you'll be stuck and the rest of the world has moved on from you. This is not a time to play small, right? The cost of containment is too dire. I did say earlier that there are people that are waiting on you to become the best version of yourselves. There's a generation of people that will be liberated simply because you chose to do something about the last idea or the last dream that you were given, right? So I think I'm hoping that when we're leaving here today, I know that there's going to be a lot of reflection, but that we can think of, yes, we can think of one or two big things that you've wanted to do, and it may not even be really big things that you wanted to do and work on them as opposed to looking for fresh things. Someone said, and I'm going to quote her, it was Bishop Funke Felix Adejumo, that sometimes we start the year wrong, where we have 25 things I want to achieve in 2025. Sometimes just pick one or two and run with those two. You achieve them, you move to the next. Sometimes we'll just be labored with so many ideas. When you have so many ideas, and if you're like me, idea na water. I have ideas over and over again. But the challenge with having a lot of ideas is sometimes the people who have a lot of ideas struggle with execution. And if you're one of those people, get people who can execute for you, so you don't have to do it by yourself. You will achieve more if you try to work in community with other people. Sometimes you don't want to work with other people because you think, oh, I know how to do this thing best. They will not understand it. Try them. Try working in collaboration with other people. The more you choose to work in silos, the less effective you can be. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. So in here today, I'm hoping that we can find people that would explore collaborations with, and that would help us to achieve and see what the next big picture is. I also want to further buttress on the point Alex had made earlier about your community, about the people that you surround yourselves with. I say that I often haven't always felt like I've been able to break free from the mental containment. There are times when it feels like I'm in a box and I can't find my way out. But the people that you surround yourself with, I once said to my friend that having a friend like her it helps me to be, like, she served as a mirror by which I could see the reflection that God wanted me to see. Because in those moments, I couldn't really see the me that I should be, or the me that God had created me to be. I needed someone to hold up a reflection. So who are the people that you have in your life? Audit your circle and really label them. Not everybody is meant to have access to the innermost parts of your heart. Some people are just going to be acquaintances. Not everybody is your friend. So in having those boundaries and ensuring that there are few people that I can draw close, I can glean from, I can learn from. They've served as a mirror for me to be able to see the person that I'm meant to be. I don't have the experience. I mean, there have been one or two failed female friendships. But ultimately, I would say that the best part of my journey have been the women that God has placed in my life. God has used women to bless me. Women have been such a support system. Women have recommended me for jobs. Women have spoken highly of me. I remember getting a job and a woman called me. She was in the room when they were deliberating between me and somebody else. And she said, you're underpricing yourself. The other person is charging way more and there's a lot of money on the table. Increase your rates. Your rates are too small. It was women that did that for me. I would have still stayed contained there in that place where I thought, I'm afraid though, if I increase it, the clients will not come. And it's okay. For you to step out of where you are, sometimes the clients that you're looking for, they need to see that, well, this person, we can't work within this, this person is too expensive for us. It's okay. The ones that see the value that you have to offer will come. So at the point when I needed to break free from that limitation of, I don't know if they'll pay me my worth, my friend, my community said to me, be ready to lose a number of jobs. And it's okay to lose some jobs. It's okay for you to lose some jobs. So what I did is, when the doors opened, when I got to that point, when I was able to break through the discomfort, because it's uncomfortable when they will come, make inquiries. Sorry, we can't afford you. They will go. Another one come, make inquiries back and forth. Why? Because you're trying to break through that containment. You know that you deserve to earn more than what you're earning. But because they're used to a version of you, they will fight back. When you want to break free from containment, everything around you will fight back. People will fight through not allowing you become that best version of yourself. But the good thing is, you don't need their permission to. Sometimes it will be the people in your circle and your friends that will tell you, you're doing too much now, calm down. Look at the people around, other people. But you have to fight through, especially because you know who you are, you know what value you offer. And yes, you will lose a lot of people along the way. You will lose some clients, but ultimately, when the clients that will come, it then becomes a standard. And then I realized the first time a client paid me a certain sum, I thought, so somebody can pay me this kind of sum to host an event. But it did not come from playing small. It came from being ready to sit with the discomfort of losing a number of jobs before getting to that client that was willing to bet on me. And then, before you know, it now became a cycle of, those kind of clients being able to come. So I'm hoping that, by the time we leave here, we can think of the ways and the areas in our lives in which we've played small and the things that have caused us to feel contained, the mental barriers. This journaling, please don't take it lightly. It's helped me a lot. You process things better when you write them down. So remove it from your head and put it down in a book, in an iPad. Just write it down. Think of the ways in which you've been playing small. Is it or the things that have limited you? Is it your perception of yourself, the external perception of yourself, or the mental perception of yourself? Also, be willing to be very honest with yourself, because sometimes we want to lie our way into success. We want to lie and positive speak our way into who we're not. Sometimes, and I know they'll tell you, keep confessing who you want to be, but be honest with yourself enough to say, this is who I want to be. This version of me is a bit of a distance from this version that I want to be, and find where the missing gap is. For me to become this kind of person, this is what I need to do differently. I want to earn more in this regard. What value do I have? The current value that I have to deliver, if I'm being honest, is it deserving of these rates that I'm demanding? And if it's not, what do I need to do to polish it, to fine-tune it, so that I know that even though I'm losing deals along the way, that the right one will come, because I have gotten to the place where I have value to offer to the world. And I just hope that we can have those honest conversations with ourselves. And sometimes the honest conversations will not really, you might not be able to navigate your way. And this is a very sensitive thing I'm about to say, and I want you to have an open mind to it. I think that we all should learn to explore therapy. I think that is very helpful. We've demonized therapy in Nigeria because we're a very religious and cultural society. But when we're talking about breaking free from containment, sometimes you need an external person to hold that mirror for you. And the external person might not be your friend, because a prophet is not recognized in his own home. Sometimes it will be a professional that will help you trace the patterns and draw the dots and then say to you, they will help you come to the realization of the things that have been holding you down and the things that you need to do to get to where you want to go to. So I do hope that, I've said I hope again, with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince and not confuse you that there's really that you have nothing to gain in playing small, and playing small is not being humble. Playing small doesn't serve God. Containment is not humility in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies, could you rise to your feet? Please give her a radiant round of applause. Thank you so very much. Like, I kept writing until, and she wasn't using her notes. So now I'm just wondering, is it a special talent? Okay, thank you so much. You may please be seated, if you don't mind. For just 5 minutes, we're going to take questions. So thank you so much, online audience. I didn't acknowledge it earlier. So we actually have people watching online, and somebody sent a question in. Hello? Okay, I have my mic back. Sorry. Thank you so much. All right, thank you. So somebody sent a question earlier. If you have a question, do you mind raising your hand so I'll come to you directly after this? You have a question for her. She said, playing small will not serve this generation. You can say this is the generation of virality. It's like if you haven't gone viral in your life, you've not started. Even 3-year-olds are dreaming of starting a YouTube page, being on TikTok, and they are counting their likes. People that cannot change their,
Do we have those kind of people that are interested in building a career in media here?
Okay, that's also
Oh,
a
we
fantastic
have.
question.
Okay.
Fantastic. So you have an opportunity to ask the right question. So now, the question somebody asked online is, how do I overcome imposter syndrome? I run a cooking business. I'm a medical doctor. I love baking, but sometimes I feel inadequate. How do I overcome imposter syndrome?
So I don't think that you completely overcome it. I think that you ride with it, right? The way they say, don't allow your emotions ride you, you ride your emotions. I said earlier that I don't think you completely get over the fear. And I'll share a story. I have a very close friend who, she was working with a multinational. She got the dream job with a huge multinational. In fact, she had just gotten another offer from another multinational. So she had literally 2 multinationals, one that she turned down the offer, another one she was working with. 2 weeks into, she calls me and says, Olive, when are they going to discover that I'm a fraud? How can you have gotten an offer from 2 multinationals and you're still second-guessing yourself? I say this to say that even women at that level still second-guess themselves. Unfortunately, I think it's a thing with women. I don't have statistics to prove, but I think that we are often prone, and I've seen a number of people say this, that we're often prone to higher levels of doubt, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and feeling like you're a fraud. And the man who doesn't have half as much a talent as you will go ahead. When they ask him, oh, can you do this? He will say, oh, yes, I can. He cannot do it. 50% information he doesn't have. He may have 30% knowledge. He will say yes, and then he will go and learn. We women, we first of all try to find out if we have the qualifications, then we say yes, right? So for the woman who says how she can deal with imposter syndrome, I first of all want to tell you that all of us are dealing with it. You're not alone. It's a thing that we even I oftentimes have to remind myself. What keeps me grounded is my faith. And on the days when, because some days are rockier than usual, the days that you don't feel quite yourself, you don't feel quite 100%, confessing the word of God helps me. I have scriptures I write. There have been times I go to the bathroom, I look at the mirror, and I'm having words that I say to myself. And these are not just empty words. For me, again, I don't know what works for you and what faith you belong to. But for me, the Bible is the yardstick. So I go and I look for scriptures that deal with insecurity. Scriptures that, and imposter syndrome is rooted sometimes in a fear of not feeling enough, which is at a point hinting on your identity. So I go and I look at the scriptures that talk about my identity, that say that I was made in the image and the likeness of Christ. I go and, look at the scriptures in that regard. You can even use Google and say, search for scriptures about identity. Write them down, personalize them, put your name where you see I, or, say, Olive is made in the image and the likeness of Christ. And you continue to, confess it. That has helped me. Those are one of the things that help me. Second thing would be, just do it. Do the things that you want to do. She says she's a baker. She has all these other things. The only reason you are a baker is because you bake, right? If you don't bake, nobody's going to recognize you as a baker. Done is better than perfect. It's okay for you to have a bad cake. It's okay for you to do a cake that it's not as great as the seemingly great bakers. Even as a compare, the days I finish hosting some events and I'm like, I know I ate today. Today's event, I finished it. There's some days I'm like, okay, it was okay. It could have been better. It's just like with cooking. Does your cooking taste the same every time? Is it 100%? Even with makeup, some days your eyebrow is not cooperating with you. Your right eyebrow is like, what is going on? So I would say, just do it. And it's okay for it not to be perfect. I think we're just so preoccupied with doing things and doing them perfectly. We don't care about you doing it perfectly. Just do it. Perfection comes with repetition. The more you do something over and over again, the better you become at it. And you will never get to that point where your work is perfect. If you haven't given yourself an opportunity to do it over and over again, to fail, to learn, it comes from repetition. So imposter syndrome, I don't know if it will ever completely go away, but what I will say is, if you're a person of faith, use scripture, find out again what are the things you are afraid of. Sometimes you just need to have a frank conversation with yourself. Okay, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid that if I bake my cake, they'll say the cake is not sweet, or they'll drag me on social media. Write out this fear. Sometimes you need to put it down there. And then when you read it, you now realize that this fear I have is actually ridiculous. So it's not as bad as I thought that it was. Therapy helps. Speak to someone, speak to community, surround yourself with a community that will help you see yourself and speak words to you that will build your self-esteem. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. So the lady who asked that question, I'm assuming you're a lady. That's an assumption. Okay. Okay. Thank you. We're waiting to taste your cakes, by the way. So, she said just do it. So, action breaks fear. So she asked earlier if anybody is looking to a career in media. You dream of hosting events, You dream of being on TV. So do you have
I'm
a
happy
question?
to take media-related questions.
Yes. Do you have a question for her?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm just going to share an experience and then put my question in between. Growing up, or when I became a teenager, I realized that when I go to events, they hand over the mic to me and say, just host it. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to say? I will say something, and then when I'm done, they give me a hug and say, oh, you did great, you did great. Okay, fine. And then I went into the university, and once in a while, somebody will call me and say, come and do this, come and do that. I remember the first hosting I did in the university, I was paid 10,000 naira. I was like, okay.
At least they paid you in university. Me, it's food they gave me.
I was paid 10,000 naira. But the other ones I was just doing it for free and all that. And then sometimes I'll go back to my house and say, did you really do this thing well? Is this something you want to pursue? But I knew that I wanted to be in the media. I love to listen to the radio. I love to talk and all of those. So I started getting jobs. And then one day I told myself, are you sure you're doing enough? Are you sure you're actually doing this well? So I started running away. And I would say, I do red carpet hosting, not events and all that. So I shifted to red carpet hosting. And then after some time, I will run away again. And I'm like, what's going on? Why am I always running away? I remember this year, I did a red carpet hosting for someone. It was for an event that was about little children doing some stunts and all that. And afterwards, I was having very serious cramp that day. I remember when people come on the red carpet and then I'm asking them questions, just smile. I'm like, why are you smiling more than me? Why are you so excited? Just calm down, please. I don't have the energy. And then afterwards, I told my friend, I said, I don't think that I did my best because I was really feeling pains, cramp, and all that. And she was like, you go and sit down, you that I know. And I got a message from the host, the convener, and she said, you did so great. I'll have my birthday in August, and I will need you to come. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, good. And then today, I was supposed to host an event. And I turned it down because I wanted to be here. These people keep coming, and I keep running away. I don't know why.
What are you afraid of?
I don't know what I'm afraid of because I literally talk well.
I can hear that. You talk very well.
And then I suffered anxiety in 2023 when I did my master's. I had anxiety. I didn't know what anxiety was until that. And I started to mumble a lot of times when I want to speak. I'm just starting to get my words together now. I used to mumble from 2023 down to this year. I don't think I have my words together yet properly.
You do have your words together. You've been speaking uninterrupted for 2 minutes.
Okay. So,
and if it helps you to feel less alone, I've also dealt with anxiety for the most part of my life. I had panic attacks in 2018. That was when I officially knew that there was something called panic attacks because it was a hospital that said, because I'd been going to get checks and then they said, oh, this is panic attack. So please go ahead so you don't feel alone. Because I'm trying to look for all the excuses that you bring up.
Yeah. So I don't know what this is entirely. Then now when you talked about, that's for this particular, I don't know what this is, why I keep running away, because every time I engage people, I engage them well. Now, there's also, when you talked about playing small, recently someone reached out to me and said, I do voiceovers as well, and I act. So somebody reached out to me and said, I was giving you a contact and we need you to voice something. I said, okay, can I? Said, how much do you charge? I said, let me see what you want me to voice and then I'll tell you how much I charge. And he said, let me advise you. We have 3 people on the list already, but they want to hear from me. So I have decided to talk to you. So I'm advising you to not be very expensive. I smiled. I said, this guy don't know me. I smiled and I said, okay, just send me what the voiceover is about. Let me know everything. And then I would respond to you. I have a meeting in a few minutes, so I might respond late. So I responded afterwards. What I did was I sent him samples of what I have recorded, voiceovers I have recorded. I sent him samples and I said, these are samples of my work. And this is how much I will charge you for this particular work. And I said, these are samples of my work. What is your budget? And he sent me his budget. And I said, I will not be able to do the voiceover for this particular amount you're charging. This is how much I will take. And that was the end of the conversation.
And that's okay.
Yes, I did that because I don't like it when you contact me for a job and then you're telling me that you have orders, which means no go do pass yourself, we go drop you. I feel if you want to collaborate, if you don't have enough money to pay, just say what you have and say, would you be able to work for us for this amount? I think that's a better way to put it than saying we have people on the line, so I'm advising you to play small. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So what's your name?
Emodi Kefe.
Emodi Kefe.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, I want to say I'm proud of you for how you handled the voiceover situation. I don't ever think that people should belittle people when it comes to their talent. And I think one of the most annoying things I hear when people come to me and say, I want you to compare my event, and then I send you my rate card. And the next thing, I'm in the wrong career. You people, it's like me too. I'll carry microphone and start. It's just like me saying to someone who's running this place, you're charging a lot of money. In fact, maybe I should quit my career. And I know sometimes it's just a light joke, but what it does is it makes the person feel like their job is not serious. I've done this for over 10 years of my life. I've invested time, talent, money, expertise into this, and you can't come and belittle it. So the value that you place on your work and your talent is the value that other people will place on it. I'm proud of you for being able to recognize that he had no business in saying that. On the flip side, there's a way he could have told you that, okay, we're speaking to 2 other people, but the team is just trying to review. We're hoping that we can come to a conclusion or we can find a middle ground. He said the same thing, but in 2 different ways, as opposed to telling you, let me advise you, better don't charge. You're not bringing down your worth to appeal to somebody's palate. The person who is ready for your business and who can afford you will come for you. And you may lose a number of jobs along the way, and that's okay. So back to you quitting your job. I think there's something to probe there because it sounds to me like self-sabotage. It sounds like there's a potential for you to do so much. It's just like people who are in great relationships and then the relationship is peaceful. They are happy. Then after a while, your body starts to bite you. We have not quarreled since. Everything feels too normal. Then you start looking for something to quarrel about. If you're in that category, the Lord will deliver you in Jesus' name.
Amen.
It's self-sabotage. You want to hold yourself back and you have to fight it. The response to that will be you acting against your intuition, against your normal, natural inclination. The way people say, like me now, I'm not a morning person. I am far from a morning person. I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. I wake up every day at 4 a.m. because I have to be on live TV for 7 a.m. I live on the island. My studio is on the mainland. I have to make it to the mainland. I make it 45-minute drive every day to go and do hair and makeup and then go on live TV. Sometimes I'm groggy 5 minutes before I go on air. They have to make coffee for me to. But I've been doing this for how many years now? In my current station, I've been doing this for 3 years, a little over 3 years in my current station. But I don't like it. I want to be a princess. I was born to be a princess, not to work this hard. But I do it anyway. So you have to say to yourself, this is how I feel. But do you always do everything you feel like doing? No. Do you always eat whenever you are hungry? Do you always sleep whenever you're sleepy? If you were at work and you were sleepy, would you sleep? So you don't do everything you feel like. You have to fight against your natural feelings and inclination. You have a natural inclination to run away from things. You've recognized it for what it is. You do the exact opposite and say, yes, I feel like I'm going to run away, but I will do this. Even though everything on the inside of me is screaming no. I will say yes. So I think after today, please say a number of yeses. When the next person comes, say yes. And if your fear is fear of delivery, speak to people. Send me a DM, we can have a conversation later. Speak to people. You can get guidance. And you won't get better as an MC if you don't MC events. You will never get better as an MC. And just so you know, even if you've done 10, 20, 100, I've done well, I can't count anymore how many events I've done. But there's some events, I did say this earlier, that I do, and I think it was a good event. It wasn't a bad event, but I don't think it was a me event. I don't think that it was 100. I would give my 100%, but sometimes even when you give your 100%, it may not be good enough for that particular event. Giving my 100% can mean different things at different times. I'm having a terrible period day, and I'm giving my 100%. My energy is not as much as on a day when I'm not on my period, because I'm having cramps and I'm fighting for my life, yet I'm showing up and I'm doing the work that I have to do, right? So you won't get to that point. You will never get to the point. I don't think you will ever get to the point where you think, every event, I've aced it. I would say outside that I'm an excellent event host. And I know that I'm an excellent event host. I don't need anybody to tell me. But there are days, honestly, when I finish, I think, I don't feel so great about how this turned out. But you must be okay with that. Sometimes you just want to live life on a high. But life doesn't go that way. You have to be honest and realistic with yourself. It's just like, again, I make reference to relationships. People expect, it's excitement every time. It's not like that. You must be okay with sitting with boredom, comfortable in boredom. What some will say, I'm lonely. No, you're not lonely. This is normal life. People are not excited every time.
All the time.
It's those who are chasing for the dopamine that now start looking for drugs and other things to keep them on the constant high. So even when you're not on that constant high, fight the natural inclination to run and just do it. And if you need help, I'll be glad. I know that I want to start part of my goal for the rest of the year, and I'm saying it publicly to hold myself to account, is to mentor women, female MCs, because I can't do every event, right? There are a number of events that I may not be able to do, but I would like to be able to say I can recommend someone who can do this, and I know that they will do an excellent job, because I know they're not there representing themselves alone, because they came from me is also my reputation. So part of my goal for this year is to do to do mentorship for women who want to become masters of ceremony. So fantastic. I look forward to seeing you at an event around the corner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Good afternoon. I'm making you come forward because of the camera, Please. It's your moment. It's your moment. Step into the spotlight.
Don't be shy. Don't be
Thank
shy.
you.
Your dress is so
you're
pretty.
Radiant. You're in yellow.
We all should see your bright, pretty dress.
Camera. Thank you. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so I love hosting also. And I think in 2020, I actually started having I started with live Instagram sessions where I invite people who talk about everything that relates to mental health, faith, and just literally being the best version of ourselves. At the same time, during those periods and even up to now, I am hungry for, for change, to bring about transformation in lives of people. However, my hunger led me to wanting position, because I'm a marketer by profession.
You're what?
A marketer.
Okay.
So I wanted also more in my career. At the same time, I really want to host programs, events. But my career just became so busy that for the past 2 years, I've not done anything. And every time I try to start, I'm exhausted. I'm working round the clock. Even right now, I'm working.
I saw you with your laptop. So you don't have weekends to yourself?
I wish I do. Like right now, my head is banging. I'm tired, but I really want to be here. Because because you're here, I was also be here. And plus,
thank you for coming.
She's my friend also, and then she gives me permission. Platforms like this too. So I want to know, in this situation, because even today I was still telling my sister, I said, I just really want to host events, but work is, and in short, I'm doing so much. I'm like, okay, what can I even let go? I love being a marketer, but I want to be a marketer and also host events. But I don't know how to juggle both. I have a second job also. I'm also thinking of just resigning that because it's a lot. Yes.
My sister.
So,
I think that it's important to prioritize rest. I think that we oftentimes, and as I'm saying this to you, I'm saying this to myself. Again, I would go back to how God created the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day He rested. And I think that was indicative of how we should live our lives around rhythms of rest. Our society glorifies hustle culture. I don't believe in hustle culture. I work hard a lot, but every time I have to remind myself to take breaks. Olive, you need to take a break. And I'm saying that to you, you need to take a break. You don't want to get to the point where you break down. If you think that your mental health is already at this point where the work is driving you crazy, first of all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to work this hard, and I'm sorry that this is holding you back from doing the things that you actually love, right? So maybe it's time to go back home and do a bit of maths. And I know that it's an easy thing to tell someone to rest when they have bills to pay, right? So maybe it's time to do maths and figure out, okay, what can we do to ensure that, okay, do I have enough saved? If I can give myself a break from this second job, do I have enough saved to carry me for another 6 months? And then see if this is a time where I can just throw myself out there. But before you decide to quit that job, start to do soft pitches. You have to figure out a way. As an MC, if you're going to build a career as an MC, people need to see what you've done. I'm not going to recommend somebody that I haven't seen work because it's also my reputation at stake. People need to see what you've done. And how can they see what you've done? It is by emceeing. You have a family friend who's getting married, volunteer to MC their wedding. You are going to attend. You were attending anyway. Tell them you want to MC their wedding. Get a content creator to film it for you. That's content for you. That's also experience for you. You have an event in your company happening. They want to get an MC. Volunteer to MC it. You were going to work in the event anyway. It's your event, it's your company. Tell them you want to MC. What you're doing is you're building experience, and then you're creating your own catalog where you're sending to clients. Because clients will ask you, even till today, some people still reach out to me and say, can you send us video of you hosting? I say, okay, I will send. I'm not too proud. I need the money, please. So take the time to go back and do the math with your finances and see if it's something that's, if quitting that second job is something that you can afford, maybe that's something to look at. But you have to work with the resources within you. Tell people, pitch yourself. Don't wait for people to be. At the start of my career, I used to tell people, when I finished university and then I started working on TV, I remember I wasn't hosting for a while because I was out of TV. I was done with school. I didn't think hosting was a career for me. For me, I'm now on TV and I should focus on that. Guests will come on my show to come and advertise an event, that they have an event coming, blah, blah, blah. I'll finish talking to them. I said, so I think it's such a fantastic initiative. Do you have an MC? Don't be shy. Have you seen Funke Akindele? Have you seen the way she carries her market? Sometimes when you want to be shy, think about her. Funke Akindele is one of the most influential women. I've worked with her, her work ethic. The woman works hard. You would think that she's just starting out her career. She works hard like somebody that doesn't have the level of influence that she has and the number of followers. So you will sell your market. Ask your office. Look for the events that are happening in your office. Let's start with that. Host the events in your office. Look for your friends that are doing baby showers, unless you know the kind of events that you want to host. Maybe there's a particular kind.
Yeah,
corporate event. So let's start with your office. And sometimes even the ones that you think, well, it's not my kind of event, it's also experience for you. Use that and build your experience. But then you can go back and then reevaluate if you can put up some money together and give yourself a break. These days, people take 1 year breaks. Take a 1 year break. I mean, if it's something that you can afford. But before then, set systems and structures in place before you decide you want to pivot from this into a career as a host. Because I don't know what you're earning now, but starting out as a host sometimes doesn't bring the money that you necessarily want. It takes a while to build up. But once you've built it up, when it rains, it pours. I wish you all the best. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do we have a... Oh, fantastic. Do you want to come forward, please? Come and take your moment.
The first step is to be radiant enough to stand in front of these women.
This is the lady whose favorite color is brown, by the way.
Your favorite color is brown?
I forget her name, but
nice.
I remember that about her. So please introduce yourself. I forgot to remind the others.
Okay. My name is Iniolua.
Hi, Iniolua.
So for me, I do content about football. So, yeah.
I love it. You and my mom will be great friends. That's what they watch in my house when they come visiting.
But I've heard a lot of people talk about me. You talk too quietly. you talk like a baby. Can you please be more audible? And for me, it has always been like this. I talk like this. I don't know what else to do for me to be more audible. So maybe you can help.
So there are trainings that help with how you speak. There are people who train you. There are public speaking sessions that teach you how to speak. You can learn something. Well, how do people learn accents and acting? These things can be learned. It's not, yes, there are people who are naturally gifted in that way, but it can be learned. A number of things, even in the way that I pronounce words, I had to learn a number of these. While I say I didn't go to any school to learn how to be a broadcaster, I remember they would bring facilitators to our office, and then they would teach us oral English. They would teach us how to, in fact, God bless Mr. Victor Oruro. I was his best student then. We would get things like there's this dictionary, I've forgotten the name. It's a dictionary for pronunciation. No, it's not Cambridge. There's a particular dictionary for pronunciation. There are a number of things that I learned, and I'm still learning. There's some words that after, I can't even tell you how I used to pronounce some words, but it's something that can be learned, right? Give yourself first a chance to go through some training. Definitely training will refine how you're able to deliver. Once you're done with the refining, that's okay. Present yourself as you are. There are people who, their focus, there was a time it was uncool to speak Pidgin as a host. But there are people who have built a brand with speaking Pidgin. There was a time, a number of the content creators that you see, content creators that have a lot of followers. Let's not call names. But the people that they can't even put together 2 complete sentences. Yes, yet they are amassing so much influence. So you just have to, first of all, decide on your own. I will give it all that I can. And after that, I will rest. And everybody will be all right. The world around you will adjust to learning how you sound. There was a person that I used to listen to on TV. No, the person wasn't on TV at the time. But I remember every time I heard the person, it sounded weird hearing the way the person sounded, right? It just sounded a bit, something felt a little weird. After hearing it over and over again, it no longer sounded weird. I one day had to ask myself, what happened? Why was I thinking that this person used to sound weird? At a point, I think I got used to it. So the way they say, I know people say this thing a lot. It sounds very cliche, but it's true. Be you, the world will adjust. Okay?
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing your football content.
Thank
I think that's
you.
a niche we don't have a lot of women. So please don't sleep on it.
I think it's a very unique
Yes.
sector. Thank you. Lady in green. Can we give her a round of applause, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to ask a question. My name is Nisola Martins.
Nisoma.
Nisola.
Nisola.
Actually, my name is Olorunishola, but, branding things. Yeah.
Wow, Nisola. I actually really like Olorunishola.
Really?
Yes. I think that if people can... Olorunishola.
Olorunishola. Olorunishola.
Olorunishola.
Olorunishola.
Wealth. That's such a beautiful name.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful name.
All right.
But again, you have to feel comfortable with it. But I think that a lot of us learn how to pronounce a number of these Oyinbo names. They should learn how to pronounce our names.
Yes.
But please go ahead.
I'm working on that.
No, but that's okay. I can't even judge you. My name is Olive.
All right. So I want to ask, at the start of your career, or maybe somewhere along the line, you were presenting or hosting, and you have maybe had an embarrassing situation. How did you overcome the fear of doing it again? Now, I say this because sometime, I think last year, people tell me I have a really good voice, right? I have a great voice. Why are you not in communications? You're probably an OAP or something. And I'm like, I have fear, really. I can just communicate with you one-on-one, but I cannot stand in front. I'm standing in front of everybody, actually.
Exactly.
But I think I cannot present and say, okay, I want to host this, event and things like that. So I wanted to come out of that shell and challenge myself to say, okay, do this one. And somebody called me to host her wedding. And I thought, it's not just to talk and, converse with people, make the event very, interesting. And also I went there, and guess what? I was shouting. I was not presenting anything. I was like, everybody, hi. And they're looking at me. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here?
In
Can
your
the ground
defense-
just swallow me up?
In your defense, as an MC that is starting out, wedding was a bit of a stretch.
It was a stretch, yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't it was just a small gathering of people. And, I just thought I could do that because it was an intimate gathering.
How intimate? Like how many people?
I would say 20.
Okay.
20. So I thought I could do that. And the people were not giving me the energy that I was giving into the room. It was a really embarrassing situation. And I told myself, sure, you shake this off, you do it again. But honestly, I've not gone back I can't even share pictures of myself on that day, of that day. They shared it with me, but I don't think I'm confident enough to share this, that I actually hosted this thing, because I know that it was a flop end of day. So if you were if you had been in an embarrassing situation like that, how did you overcome that? And also, my second question is, having a good voice or soothing voice or great voice, does that equal to being a good communicator or something, right? Yeah, so yeah. I
All
think
right.
that is it for me.
Thank you very much, Olorun Nishola, or Nisola, whichever you prefer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for those very important questions. And I think that's a good way to, land this conversation. First of all, having a good voice is a great asset in communication. However, it's not enough. Communication involves a lot. Your voice, your body language, there's eye contact, there's being able to link your stories properly. So some of this can be learned. Having a good voice is a great start, but that's not where it ends. There's so much more that needs to be added to that. Then going back to the embarrassing situation, first of all, I find weddings very stressful to host to. This one that are saying, people say that I do a good job at weddings, but typically I run away from weddings. When I get clients who come to me and say, can you host this wedding? It's only very few people's weddings that I've hosted, the intimate ones. Although my intimate and your intimate is not the same. My intimate was 100, 150. So yeah. And those ones are smaller. Because wedding, you're managing the emotion of the bride, you're managing the emotion of the groom, you're managing the father of the bride that is telling you, start now. And the bride is saying, I'm not coming inside, I'm not ready. It's a lot of chaos at weddings. But I'll give you a few tips, first of all, for subsequent events, because we're going to host other events, whether you like it or not. Before the event starts, get there early enough. Get there early enough to familiarize yourself with the audience. Because first of all, you're a woman. Whether we like it or not, there's a certain way that people will look at you. We oftentimes get judged a little harsher. Especially, you're a pretty girl. They're like, okay, so you're fine, Bayenko, and so what? So you're fine, and you want to come and MC this wedding. I remember once going for a wedding. I was hosting a wedding, and the person came to me and said, a woman, you can host. Will you crack joke? I say, I'm not a comedian, sir. I'm a compare. So there are already certain biases that you have to push through. Make your work a little easier. Get there early. I always, for events I'm hosting, get there earlier, just with them. I remember hosting an event last year that imagine a client hiring you and telling you that they will not laugh with you. They are very strict. They are very uptight. So let me just prepare you ahead of time. The anxiety was at an all-time high. The prayer I prayed before that event, in fact, it affected a lot of things. I got there early, gisting with them from table to table. I had made friends before the event started, such that when I started, the energy what they were giving back to me was because I had already made friends with them. So I hope that that's a tip that can help you for future events. Because you've built a relationship with them, you can then go to the tables and gist with them. They're not seeing you for the first time. It's not shocking and jarring and who is this girl? They've gotten familiar with you. So that's a tip you can use to deal with that. Embarrassing situations happen all the time. Last year, when I was hosting speaker conference, my friends Ayo Maroesi and Rolake Akinkugbe they're the co-founders of Speaker, and I was their MC. I moderated a session with Ike Osakudua, and this is one of my favorite conversations to have. I asked him to share embarrassing situations because I wanted younger MCs to know that it's okay to make mistakes. Because people who are the GOATs, the GOATs, the greatest of all times, the people you look up to in this industry, they make mistakes too. And a number of us shared our embarrassing situations. Somebody shared how he went to the event and he was saying, this award is given posthumously to Kiniko. Basically, posthumous means that the person is dead. The person was alive and was there. What do you do? How do you recover from that? The mistake you made, imagine you said that. You see how grave that was? You want to kill the person. And then he said his comeback was like, I'm trying to remember what he said his comeback was. I've forgotten what the comeback was. But he tried to laugh over it. But it's embarrassing. We all have embarrassing moments. Even as a regular babe, on a normal day, you've had wardrobe malfunction. Will wardrobe malfunction stop you from going out another day? It just would help you maybe put extra precaution, like carry a needle and thread in your car in case you need to tack something, you need to sew something, carry an extra pair of dresses. The only way to deal with the embarrassing situation is just tell yourself, that's how life is. Some days are better than others. And then ask yourself, what could I have done differently to make sure that I had a different outcome? So maybe start with family and friends to build your confidence level back. Again, I can't overemphasize start with hosting a few free events. The pressure level is lower when you're not getting paid. If it's a free event, well, I'm doing them a favor. When there's money there, your heart is like, hey, God, will they pay me? Will they feel like they are wasting their money on me? So do a few free events first to test the waters. Use your friends, their birthdays. Encourage them to do party. And MC their birthdays for them, MC weddings. Just use a number of them to test run yourself. And then you launch back. But you will never get over that fear if you keep thinking about it. I cringe sometimes too. I remember at an event, it was a female-focused event. And you know how I don't know if I should share. Please, people should not post it on social media. It was a female. I love women's event. I've said that to you. I'm a girl's girl. And somebody was trying to climb the stage. Her outfit was really tight. And I was trying to make a joke. And it was going to be such a joke made in poor taste. I was going to say something in the line of, look at the struggle we are going through to look this good. Men, you better appreciate us. In a women's event, that would have been it would have landed. I had started it. I did not finish the thought. I had already started, look at and then my head just said, are you mad? In this kind of event. So I had a weird 30-second break. That was like, I was mumbling and trying to find my words. And then I got over it. And it was an event where there were so many celebrities. Now, I'm used to going to events where by the time I'm done, hey, many people will come and be like, oh, that's wonderful. You did amazing. Please, can I take a picture? Nothing like that happened in this event. And then a part of me started to think, was it because of that mistake I did on that stage? And I called my friend Ayu, and I was just like, I did not get people coming to tell me as usual. She said, have you forgotten that it's an event of celebrities? Even celebrities are used to people fawning over them, and you are expecting them to do that for you. Why? How? So I'm saying this to say mistakes are inevitable. They are a part of life. Wow. Dust it and move on. I look forward to seeing you at another event.
Thank you. Please give her could we rise to our feet, ladies? Thank you so much. Oblige me, please. Give her okay. All right, fantastic. Thank you. She was so gracious. We kept her standing, and she was so gracious, listening to us pour out our hearts, sharing from such a vulnerable position. Thank you so much, Olive. We have been liberated. Do you feel liberated? All right, give it up. Give it up for her, please. Thank you.
Can we also give it up for our phenomenal MC?
If she did say that, I would have been in her DM.